Hello and welcome to the Legislative Report. I'm State Representative Keith Gillespie of the 47th District in York County, broadcasting today from Penn-Air Hydraulics and Accessories in beautiful Springettsbury Township. Today we're honored to be with Bob Rhein, who's the President and CEO. And Bob, I just want to get the title down here correctly. It is Penn-Air Hydraulics and Pnue-Force, correct?
That is correct, and thanks for being here, Keith. Really appreciate you being here.
Honored to be here, and again, I know with the folks that tune into to this show, really an opportunity here to showcase your business. And we have a grand history here with your father-in-law. Your wife Cheryl over here is certainly a great big part of the company, and we're looking forward to hearing about the history, how it all got started, and what you guys do.
Thank you. Again, thanks for being here. We're coming up on start of our 47th year. So, in fact, next week, first week in December, 68. Jim and Mary, my mother-in-law and father-in-law, founded the business, so very proud to be starting the 47th year.
Okay, great. Now I understand they started over on Mount Rose Avenue in Spring Garden Township, and then eventually moved out here to where we're on Industrial Highway and close to the North Hills Road intersection. And they came here in the late 90s, is that correct?
About 96, building used to belong to the York Daily Record, so as they made their transition, it was a wonderful time for us to transition space-wise. So we actually brought our Pnue-Force division up from Baltimore and the Penn-Air and Hydraulics division off of Mount Rose Avenue in, so we are now one in the same company.
Okay, well then maybe you ought to give us a little history of the Maryland side of it. It had started down there simultaneously, or was that a division that was acquired?
No, great question. So what happens, our business, in general, we're in the business of helping people. So based on our relationship, we represent a number of manufacturers who make hydraulic and pneumatic components. So over the years, we've been invited to expand into different markets. So 1968, Jim and Mary had the footprint of central Pennsylvania. It extended up into northeast PA. Then in the mid to late 70s, as the company began to grow, we had a presence in the Philadelphia area. And somewhere in the late 80s, about 1988, we were invited to go down to Baltimore and actually open up a new division. And so we went down to Maryland, created a new business as a division of Penn-Air, and that's the name that would come with Pnue-Force. So operating out of Maryland till mid-90s when we purchased the building and ultimately integrated the two operations.
So now everything is under one roof here.
Absolutely. It's 24,000 square feet. We have about 50 people. In round numbers, about 35 of our associates work out of this facility. We've got roughly 15 people that work in the field in terms of being outside sales engineers. So they would have responsibility for geography, and within that geography, the accounts that may exist.
Okay, well I know with meeting with some of your management team before we started the show, you've got people that literally started here a couple of weeks ago, and you have one individual, Dave, I believe, has been here for 36 years.
Very proud of our team, and I can't say enough about the people here. When Jim and Mary started the company back in '68, they built it on the foundation of honesty, integrity, and trust. So from a core value standpoint, that hasn't changed in 46 years. So as we build the team, and again, we're blessed to have just a solid team of 50 associates. When we look at the years of experience, I know it exceeds hundreds of years, but our leadership team, we have people that have been in excess of 30 years. We have a number of people in excess of 20 years, and just couldn't be more excited about their commitment to the family, to the organization, and to the customers.
Well, it certainly sounds like Jim and Mary laid a terrific foundation, and those core values are, I think it exudes by your leadership team and by the employees we've had a chance to talk to here today so far. That kind of loyalty of that many years, you guys got to be doing something right.
Well, it's all about the people, and again, we really want our leadership team to understand that when we look at relationships, we focus on 5 areas. So we believe that all 5 areas are critical to not just today's success, but more so the significance that we'll have tomorrow. So we're focusing on our associates, we're focusing on our customers, we're focusing on our suppliers, we're focusing on the community, and then we also focus on our competition. And those 5 relationship groups are critical to how we proceed from a daily basis, what we do, why we come in, and the things that we do.
Okay. Well, maybe you talked about a lot of things there, and I do want to highlight a couple of those. But maybe just basically get started. What industries do you serve? We're dealing here a lot with hydraulic lines, and we'll talk a little bit about this. I think you said it was a grown man's erector set about another sideline you have. But companies with machineries that are using hydraulic hoses and fittings and so forth are probably the biggest, one of your biggest customer bases?
Typically, we find where we're able to help people would be in the manufacturing community. So the products that we represent are very diverse. It could be hydraulic hose, fittings, it could be pneumatic components, so filters, regulators, valves, cylinders. To many people outside of manufacturing, that really doesn't mean anything because those are somewhat unusual terms. But if you were to walk into a manufacturing plant, many times you'd see a machine, and that machine is made up of lots of parts. So some of those parts would fall under the area of what we might be able to help them with. So if it has hydraulic components on it, pneumatic components, that was the business model for the first 25 or so years. It was replacement of components, and it helped to really pave the way for where we are today. Because as the economy has changed, as our customers have asked more of us from the service standpoint and what we could potentially do to help them, we find that now we're actually being invited in to help customers that may have concerns with safety or productivity, machine efficiencies. There's so many areas that tie into the lean concept of just how do we either reduce or eliminate waste. So today it's not about the components, it's about helping people in terms of their problems and their concerns.
And you also have drive-up service here, I understand. Like if one of the local major contractors blows a hose or has an issue, they can actually come here to the shop and you guys can do the work right here.
And I'll tell you, Keith, when you look at our property as compared to where we were years ago on Mount Rose Avenue, really struggled years ago based on the growth of the business. No loading dock, that tractor trailer would come in, want to make a delivery. I think we shut down some traffic on Mount Rose Avenue so as to make our business more efficient and really help our customers. Jim made the investment to buy the building here in '96. Plenty of parking. We're right off 30 and 83. Couldn't ask for a better location. Springettsbury Township's been great to work with in terms of just what we're doing to invest in the business and continue to grow the business.
Okay. Do you have a website or folks that may be watching this that they could look in and see a little bit more in depth of what the company does?
The website's www.pennair.com. It's always tough to put on the website what we do. So most people, when they visit the website, get a little confused because they're not quite sure what we do. So our website's really about just inviting them to call till we had that conversation and really try to understand what they hope to expect. We're just not sure if we can help them. So website's a great place to start, Penn-Air.com.
When I think of Penn-Air hydraulics, I'm thinking of hoses and couplings and so forth, but yet I believe you referred to it, as I said earlier, of the large man's erector set. This is actually extruded aluminum that you're making frames out of. Is that accurate?
You're doing a great job, Keith. So back in the early 90s, this was on the leading edge of a new product line, and today there are literally hundreds of manufacturers that make similar product. So this would be what they refer to as T-slot aluminum extrusion. So as our customers prepare to improve their machines, perhaps they're building guards or they're creating work cells, this tends to become a product line that fits the expectations of what our customers are doing. Modular, easy to change, lightweight, but strong in terms of durability. And we always start with a blank piece of paper. So really, anything could be built out of the T-slot aluminum extrusion.
Wow. I mean, there's obviously a lot of engineering has gone into this. Is that something that's done in-house here, or do you contract that as far as, this was designed for strength and functionality as well?
So if you were to picture back in 1991, the catalog was 6 pages, probably had 15 parts in it. Today the catalog's over 1,000 pages.
Wow.
So one of the areas that we've differentiated our business is to be able to offer the support so that our customers don't have to go into that catalog and figure out what bolt, what nut, what profile. So we have a team, we'll meet in a little bit, where they're involved with helping our customers, because it typically starts with that barroom engineering. It's just a barroom napkin and a sketch, and here's my concept. We want to get it drawn out, laid out, and visually agree with the customer. Is this what you want? Is this how you see our solution based on your drawing? And if there's a opportunity to help them from that standpoint, it typically would then lead to, well, this is part of another piece in the system. And so this has been a great opportunity for us to expand into areas just beyond the framing and the guarding part.
Excellent. Well, Bob, I think we're going to move on to where everything gets started here, and you keep going back to the customer and the commitment that you're making to those individuals. So we're going to go to the customer service department and see what's happening over there.
Awesome.
Bob, we're here where you said everything starts, and that's the customer service department. It looks like there's a lot of things going on here, people on the phone, on their computers. Maybe you can tell us what happens here in customer service.
Well, the inbound calls that we get on a daily basis, we never know what's coming in on the phone. So the phone's answered by a real person. There's no voicemail, there's no hit 0 to get help. So from our director of first impressions, that comes directly into this customer service group. We've got a wonderful team of experienced people who can help our customers. And many times when our customers call, they may not quite understand what it is they need. And so our job is to understand where their requirements may fit in terms of, is it a part number, is it a problem on the machine? So they're really our first responders.
Okay. And I take it in some cases they might be able to just guide and troubleshoot the individual through the phone, and they may not need anything.
Always an opportunity for us to help people, but so often we get confused by the words. So our customer might call and describe a part in their language, and we understand it to be something different. So if our customer service team can help them on that first responder call, we have a team of outside sales engineers that can come alongside of that customer physically at the plant to look at the machine, look at the part, and be able to help that customer.
Okay. And again, I know you have a lot of various rooms here with different things going on, including a shipping area where you'll load up these parts that these people are calling in to customer service on, and then shipping them out to the Mid-Atlantic region.
Exactly. Typically on a daily basis, we may have somewhere in the neighborhood of 150 orders that would come into our customer service department. From there, these orders are entered into our system. They're released into the back. Many times we're picking and shipping the inventory that would be physically in our warehouse. Other times we may be assembling based on what the customer expectation would be.
Okay, great. And we got one final stop here. We're going to head over to the design area, which I think you also have another name for it called the Hall of Frame.
Would love to show you what happens over in the Hall of Frame.
Okay, let's go.
Did you know that Act 16 of 1999 honors one of the greatest leaders in the Pennsylvania House of Representatives? The Matthew J. Rhein Legislative Office Building, once known as the Capitol Annex, is located next to the main Capitol building and honors the late Speaker of the House, Matthew J. Ryan. Those who visit this building will observe the magnificent architectural designs providing eloquence and grandeur to the building. Known as one of the greatest members in the history of the Pennsylvania State House, Matthew Ryan started his career in the legislature in 1963 and was elected Speaker in 1981. His charisma and knowledge will forever be reflected in the building now named after this great legislative leader. Now you know.
Okay, Bob, we made our way over to the Hall of Frame, as you call it, or your design area. Maybe you can just give us a little snapshot of what happens here.
So for a number of years, we've been coming alongside of our customers to help them with solutions to some of the issues and challenges they may have in their plants. This particular area, this is where our technical support team would be involved with helping our customers to select the right products as it's connected to that 80/20 or aluminum extrusion. Every day when the phone rings, we typically start with a blank piece of paper, and that concept goes from being just, hey, here's what I think I might want to do, to being real parts, real pieces. We do the design work if customers are in need of that. We can help to assemble. We do installation if the customers may not be comfortable or capable. of doing that. So it's really just understanding the customer expectation.
Understand. And most of the individuals that work in this division, what kind of background do they have? Are they engineering background?
Right, so our guys in this team would be mechanical engineers in the sense of they're consistently working with other engineers in the community. So we work with design engineers, mechanical engineers, structural engineers. It's really the understanding of how the product can be used in an area where perhaps it's never been used before.
Okay. And again, just to recap, you serve the Mid-Atlantic region, and your sales force is out interacting with your customers. And they may develop, or there may be an issue that comes up that needs a solution, whether it's a new product or an adjustment to a certain piece of equipment. This is where it's going to happen.
If we were to look at probably the last 5 years, one of the major initiatives in most manufacturing plants would be the lean concept. So with lean manufacturing, it's all about reducing and eliminating waste. So when we're invited in to help customers, typically we're able to help our customers with these products and these solutions to help them to improve from an efficiency and ultimately to reduce or eliminate that waste in the process.
Well, certainly in this economy and in this day and age, that's a very key thing. I know you've talked a lot about, and one of your core values is being active in the community, and we're going to go see a fine example of the work that Penn-Air has been doing for helping the community.
Thanks, Keith.
Bob, we had talked earlier about Penn-Air's involvement in the community, and you had a very touching story of your involvement with the Make-A-Wish Foundation. And right now we're at the end of your office here with a photo, almost like a photo album of a number of families that you've been involved with the Make-A-Wish Foundation. Maybe you can tell us a little bit about that, and maybe we can talk about a couple of these just wonderful photos here in the background.
Well, one of our core values, again, is just what's important to us is just the connection to the community. So when we look at community, we look at the various relationships in the community, how we can make a difference. Make-A-Wish Foundation is such a wonderful organization in terms of helping families. And specifically what you're seeing on the wall are just a cross-section of some of the children that we've been able to help over the last 15 years. We've been blessed to be able to connect with about 24 families, and typically what happens would be our associates get involved in helping the wish to come true. So Make-A-Wish is really about granting the wish of a child that has a life-threatening medical condition, and it provides them with strength, hope, and joy, and it's just phenomenal seeing these wishes really come true.
So when you say your associates involved, are they giving like financial support, or how are they helping out to make these wishes come true?
So many times what will happen is wishes need to be granted from a financial standpoint. So our associates have provided financially. They've conducted fundraisers over the 15 years. Just incredible seeing just the commitment to the families and that financial piece to make the wishes come true.
Okay. Well, here's one right in front of us here, and I'm sure many of the viewers will recognize that number 24 as Jeff Gordon's car. And maybe tell us a little bit the history of this young lad with the dream to go to Daytona, I believe?
Well, I have to be honest, Keith, I'm not a big NASCAR fan, but after connecting with Terry and his family, now I can see why people have the passion for the professional sport. So Terry at that time was just a 5-year-old diagnosed at that time with a life-threatening medical condition, and his wish was to go to the Daytona 500. He just was passionate about Jeff Gordon. That's from 1999, and that's actually a photo of Terry sitting inside the vehicle on pit row the day before the Daytona 500. Terry came to our Christmas banquet that year with all of our associates and some of the other Make-A-Wish families when we typically connect with them once a year, and he had that helmet, probably 30 signatures on that helmet, every NASCAR driver. He walked around just seeing the support that Terry received from the NASCAR community, but the most special part of his wish was that Sunday, being in the stands, watching his favorite driver run that race, and magically, Jeff Gordon won that race. So when Make-A-Wish says that wishes come true, in this particular case it did. Terry's now 21 years old, healthy, just a fine young man. Again, we had just an opportunity to connect with him on an annual basis, and seeing what he has been able to accomplish, we're just real pleased to be a part of that story.
Well, that is quite a story. I'm not sure if I'm sure many of these can equal it or maybe even top it, but I see folks here have been to Disney World and some of the other great places, and it's just a just an absolutely wonderful thing that you guys are doing.
You know, the one thing, Keith, that it's important for people to understand about Make-A-Wish, it's all about the wish of the child. And so often people don't truly understand what Make-A-Wish is all about. So it's granting that wish of the child. So typically people think, well, it's Disney World, or maybe it's a trip to the Super Bowl. But when the child is able to develop and ultimately create that wish, it's all about the child. And again, there's just that power of the wish, where their wish just lifts them during that struggle when they're going through their medical treatment. So been a great connection to the organization.
Wonderful, great connection. Well, we're going to go talk with another connection that you have with TechFire. And we have a robot and some young folks that you guys have been working with as well in the community. And let's go take a look at that now, Bob.
That sounds great. Thanks, Keith.
Okay, Bob, we talked about Penn-Air's involvement with the community, and we saw the Make-A-Wish Foundation wall of tribute, if you will. And you mentioned about another connection here with TechFire. Today we have Vicki Rispoli and a number of her students here. But maybe you can give us just a little background. We're going to hear from Vicki, and then it looks like we're going to have a great demonstration here on a robot that you guys have been involved with.
Well, this has been a great connection. Again, I want to thank the students for being here and thank Vicki for just making some very special things happen in the last year. We've had the privilege of coming alongside a TechFire 225. So TechFire is a team that competes within FIRST Robotics. And in our industry, robotics that's what we do. So we're involved in the pneumatic and the electrical and electronic part of controls. So when you really look at this robot, there are a number of components that we've been able to help the students and mentors at TechFire. We're fortunate that now that DJ has been retired, he'll be here at Penn-Air, and he'll be helping us to really spread the word about TechFire 225 and some of the amazing things that Vicki does with the students.
Well, Vicki, maybe if you want to bring the mic here to Vicki, Bob, thanks. Maybe tell us a little bit of how you got involved with TechFire and a little bit about your proteges here and this thing with the flashing lights and the competition that you guys have been involved in.
Well, I got involved with FIRST Robotics. I found that students are really needing to do something with their hands, real-world applications of math and science and art and everything else, and working with mentors, working with folks from Penn-Air hand in hand to do something that's competitive, like a sport, but that has applications for their future. We are training the future innovators and problem solvers. And this is how we do it. So it's a lot of fun, but there's a lot of technical things that they learn along the way. And we hope that they will be business owners and entrepreneurs and engineers, scientists. That's what we're trying to accomplish here.
And Vicki, that's just phenomenal. I mean, think of the life skills that you just talked about here.
Absolutely.
This is more than just flashing lights and a bunch of wires and gadgets. You got, as you said, future business leaders here, entrepreneurs, learning how things work, competitiveness, just a whole bunch of areas in one little nice package here.
It is a sport of the mind, and we're always excited to see the students learn to work as a team, and that's something that's really important. It's not a battle bot. We're not out there to destroy other robots. These kids learn to work as a team, so the programmers have to work with the engineers, and they have to work with the people who do the computer-aided design and the marketing. It's a whole mini business right here. So.
Right. The competition, I think I've seen maybe some of this on television before. Is that done locally or regionally, or how does that?
Absolutely. It starts at the local level. So we compete at the district events here in the Mid-Atlantic region. And then we have been very fortunate to progress on to regional and the World Championships. So this robot was at the 2014 World Championships in St. Louis and competed internationally. So we're very proud that it is going to have a home here at Penn-Air and going to be displayed for lots of people in the community.
Well, isn't that wonderful? So we can encourage people, Bob, to maybe stop by if they wish, and they can see this robot that was in St. Louis.
Absolutely, and just watching these students in terms of the environment, it's as if you're at an NFL game, just the enthusiasm, the passion, but really what I see in these students is what we're all about. It's just how do you come together as a team, how do you deliver excellence in everything that you do, and we're just so proud to be associated with Vicki and TechFire 225.
Well, great. Maybe we can get a little demonstration here. Who wants to lead the charge on this? Okay, Bob, as we come to our close here with our tour of Penn-Air, I just want to thank you so much for opening up the doors and letting us come in with your wife, Cheryl. Cheryl, thanks for letting us come in. I understand you're second generation. Mom and Dad, Jim and Mary, started the company, and it was a little one you saw it grow, and now you're here carrying on the traditions.
Thank you so much. We're really so just touched that you took the time to come by, and we're really looking for. We want to thank you, first of all, for what you do for our community in your role. We know it's probably a thankless one many times, but we really want to thank you for being our voice in government and for taking the time to come here and see what we do. It means a lot.
Well, I appreciate those kind words. Believe me, my service pales in comparison to what you guys have done. You're the backbone of the community as a small business employing 50 people. You know, we've heard some of the dedication. I just met Bud, I believe, 40 years of longevity with the company. You know, that's phenomenal. So that in itself speaks volume. But again, that's all the time we have for today, and I thank you for letting us come in and highlighting Penn-Air. I am State Representative Keith Gillespie of the 47th District in New York County. If you have any questions about today's show, contact information will be on the screen in just a moment. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next time on Legislative Report.